Evening, Reverend Kwe. 4:42 p.m. It's the 11th of December, 2024. Yeah, I wasn't on there online. Sorry about that. Overslept again. Took the morning nap. Trying to stay away from all the political crap. Sending a copy of my video over to you anyway, let you understand the viewpoints, what's going on. I got an appointment set up with you. I think it's on the 17th or 19th, one of those 2 days. 9:30 in the morning, my time. During that time, I'll be grabbing a huge thermos full of coffee. There's too much crap going on right now that it's. My therapist is still on strike. Her and her group is still striking with corporate Kaiser. And I left Kaiser messages saying, I want my therapist back. We barely got into politics. I tried to stay politics out of things. I tried to talk about other things with her concerning about my thoughts and feelings. In situations like this, I don't know who else to talk to concerning about politics. You were getting into it heavily there, dude. It's getting scarier and scarier that I can't. I'm having a hard time trying to tell reality from fantasy. But then again, you know what I do? I turn on news. I turn on local news. I'm seeing that there's a fire, maybe about 10% contained so far right now. It's already burned more than, I don't know how many acres. We already got torched up in Malibu again. Blue Sky, I'm putting in my comments on this one. So in Eyewitness News Los Angeles, there was some things I was just going through about my thoughts and my feelings regarding how I'm looking at fire, the element of it, but not to mention the it's not the physiological nature of the chemical plasma there. I know what I'm talking about. The essence and the meaning of it, and changes and everything else relating to it. Things that scared the hell out of me so much that I can't even say anything about it. It just drives me nuts. Got so cold this morning, my dog was complaining about it. I don't dare turn up the heat in this place because I got the bugs going to be thriving in a damn environment they'd love. I learned a long time ago they don't like cold, so that's why I keep it cold in this place. I don't like it much because it's damaging to a human body, but I keep hoodies with me. But my own dog, I'm buried alive in a blanket all the time. She's old and frail and thin, and she can't deal with this shit. I don't blame her. But I'll deal with it. Why? Because I have to. I have to. I'm dealing with everybody else who's got opinions at this point of trying to force everything else going down people's throats. I got lawsuits happening that I'm coming across on social media on how one particular lunatic wants to control everything. I rarely call you by your first name because I always have to give you deference and respect to your title, Rector. I don't call you by your first name because I can't. Maybe I get permission for it, but to me, you're still the Reverend. But I know it's your job title. But still, Ed. I try to give you that much leeway and respect. You earned it. Earned it in many ways there, dude. That's why I gave you the respect. That's why I call you the Reverend. Speaking of which, you must be obeyed as awake. Now, I heard something outside matching it. It drives me crazy when I get something like that going on. I try not to talk to politics, but I'll talk to politics anyway. I'm not trying to do the storming and Norman thing and slumping my chest and everything else like a bluff would be. No, I can't do that. I'm looking at things happening and it's scaring the crap out of me, Rev. It is. It is. It's scaring the hell out of me, Ed. It literally is. I mean, I've shown examples on my videos about what our viewpoints are like. Give people a perspective, give an example of what's going on. How we're locked into one particular thing, but everything else has a viewpoint of one particular item. Now, if I happen to do something like a physical item that's a threat to people, such as fire, I got it talked about all the time on the news. About 1 or 2 days to build it up, and then they dropped a news story down because other things are popping up over here. Other countries going through collapse of government. Heard about France? I haven't, but I got winded. I got to research on that one. Syria's President Assad. How many? For nearly 20 years, we heard about the civil war until he died down to almost non-existence until rebels came in and threw his ass out, and he winds up in Russia. First an ally and then an enemy. Now an ally again. Go figure. So we got that going on in the Middle East. Destabilization. Lebanon and Syria crossing borders with each other. For decades I kept hearing about warlords in Africa going after each other. In different countries torn apart left and right, landlocked areas. And atrocities happening throughout the decades. But as it became too great, we would hear the news, but it was just minor, what they would consider minor, the things we'd had to listen to. And I start hearing today about certain news organizations that say bad things about a certain political candidate that just got into presidency. Shit, give me a break, fucking hell. Pardon my language on that one. It's like I could do the characterizations on this one here, dude. Oh, God, man. Oh, I can go crazy on this damn thing. It'd give me food for fodder if I was a damn comedian on this one. A news organization that dedicated itself to kissing Trump's ass gets to be torn apart by Trumps and the Trumpettes. Takes one person over there to really go crazy and disturb old Trump head because somebody said a bad thing about Trump. And now they're under the fire. Maybe at first seconds it's maybe amusing, but then it's scary as hell because I'm seeing civil liberties, I'm seeing the First Amendment, I'm seeing the Bill of Rights under attack, the Constitution being screwed up by this asshole and by everybody else. And as I kept saying, sometimes it's no joke. I blame the voters because they voted this shit in, Ed. They wanted the change. They wanted the chaos and confusion. And this is in the red states. They carried it through the electoral votes. And they wanted this crap going on. They wanted the government to be slimmed down. Ignorance at its worst. Looking at it one particular point, ignorance at its best? No, ignorance at its worst. Because ignorance at its best would be no ignorance at all, wouldn't it? Or is that ignorance at its worst? But then again, which particular viewpoint or which particular mirror you're looking at? Oh, I'm sorry, did you happen to hit your head on the mirror already? Busted it already? Damn. So now you don't know which particular viewpoint to look at. Because you're already busted down to one particular viewpoint, which is yours. Screw everybody else's, huh? I know that look. It scares me to think that we've already got with a gun, that we're looking at things with a gun at our heads and we're doing the Jim Jones routine. You remember him? I was barely got out of my diapers, let alone kindergarten when that crap happened. And yeah, French Guiana. Congress people had to transport all their French Guiana to Africa, to Jonestown. creates a tone in Africa. A town of the Jones People's People's Church or something like that. Convinces a whole group of nigheads that he's special. He grifts the living crap out of them. People keep forgetting history. They don't want to remember history. That we had grifters long ago screwing people over left and right. We had one grifter, as I said before, Jim Jones, who killed his own flock, not to mention himself. They drank the Kool-Aid with the cyanide in it. By the way, do you have any Gatorade in your cupboard? Scariest thing to say, isn't it? I'm drinking Gatorade all the damn time. I like orange and I like lemon and lime flavoring. Not too crazy about fruit punch. I'll drink it every once in a great while when I get a hankering for the damn stuff. For me, it's citrus, citrus, citrus. Trying to stave off scurvy. Citric acid could be put into powder form. You can drink the damn stuff. Flavor it up with sugar and that's the flavorings, and you can hopefully keep yourself from getting scurvy. But what about your viewpoints about looking at everything else? Are you getting scurvy of the brain, scurvy of the soul at this point over here? Are you turning into a particular locked-in viewpoint where if you don't follow it, things happen, and wrongly too? But to find the right and wrong, you tried to do that, and you said it on last Wednesday about right and wrong during that time. Actually, it was Saturday you were saying that on. I missed today's. Yeah, I gotta go back and listen to it. But what was happening? Did we all drink a different flavor of Kool-Aids that may or may not try to kill us or something? Are we that open-minded? I thought I could try doing political science, but I can't deal with the terminology. Because what they mean by terminology one way is probably another thing at this point, and people are flip-flopping left and right that you can't even understand what's going on. Where are the rules? Where's the regulations? Where's the meanings of what we're learning? Oh, I'm sorry, that's someone else's version, isn't it? That's another territory you're not supposed to deal with. I'm scared. I'm scared for the future. I'm scared for what the hell's happening. Decisions I don't make, things happen, and then I'm like, oh, terrific. Make me more fearful about what's going on. Things I don't want to deal with, things I don't want to even accomplish, things I don't even want to do, period. But I kept saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do them, and then discover, what the hell am I doing? I veg on people's imaginations, media formats, watch different shows, get emotional reactions, and tear myself apart because I get wrapped up in some fictional account in a fictionalized character's life. And yet I see real life and I don't feel it. I should be, but I'm not. I'm not feeling what I should be feeling right now. Still asleep. This kid's outside. We got the smoke layer hanging above us. It's got reddish skies out there. Reddish skies. And it's not by storms, it's by ash cloud. I wrote a piece in Blue Sky. In ABC 7, they're talking about something. We were getting into a fire conversation somewhere. Yeah, I'm on there. John Weaver. Or diarrhea griever named John Weaver or something like that. One of those two anyway. So I'm on Blue Sky. And I was doing this piece concerning about fears, phobias, not to mention about disasters I lived through all my life. I was talking about how things affected me physically and metaphorically. that I still have to deal with. I couldn't tell you what it's like to be torn apart by a gravitational swirl, but a political dust storm, different story altogether, different meanings and matters. I had an image of a black hole getting my head on this one. A force so great in nature that nothing escapes the damn thing eventually. Everything else gets swirled right into the event horizon and beyond. Never to be seen again. They kept talking about energy waves coming off of the damn thing. Well, it was the screams coming off the accretion disk. There's enough pressure, matter, and everything else going on. Scream itself out in jets, and millions of light years later, we're seeing those screams. That's not like right now as it is, but it's almost instantaneous in one form or another. Or we're deaf, blind, and mute to it as well. The name of Hermann Goering kept coming into my head all the damn time. All the time I kept seeing press independent media is having issues over this thing. I kept thinking about that name, about that face I researched on internet. Heard it a few times going through school, K through 12, and not enough of it in college. Because if you don't talk about what happened back in World War II with the Nazis, what they were doing to the people. No, I could talk about Jim Jones and his lunacy and everybody else who wants to follow him. And to death. That's the most classic cult thing. And yet everybody's oblivious to it. Until you're sucked in. And not sure if you're in a black hole until you get sucked through the damn thing, you get crushed. Where are we and when are we going to get crushed there? I don't know, Rev. I don't know. I kept asking myself, why God kept me alive all these years? Why did he put me on this earth like this? I mean, yeah, holy heart and crooked limbs. I get to wear braces until I was old enough not to, maybe about 2 or 3, until my limbs got straightened up enough. But the heart had to have open heart surgery. Still got the scar on the right arm for the IV tube that I was freaking out on. And the surgery, and then the experiences. Some people may have felt a profound sense of what God has in store for me. I was confused, scared as hell, panicking like crazy. Not quite sure what the hell he put me back in the body because I wanted to be back in heaven, where I was safe, secure. No, no longer. Now I'm living in a world of consequences, of actions and actions that don't even have consequences enough. I gotta live, learn, hate, love, be confused and blame like crazy. I'm supposed to be taught values and I'll try to live by them, and everybody else doesn't share it. They don't share it. They don't want to be sharing it. They don't want to share it. They got their own values. If it doesn't match up with yours, and then you're screwed, aren't you? Learn about science. I think it's the only safe thing around here that science keeps could be. Science always be challenged all the time, whether or not the results are the same or not. Here are the expressions concerning about insanity. You do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. What results were you expecting from banging your head against the wall so many damn times, or trying to shoot yourself, or beat yourself up? You expect to live? Well, yeah, you'll live. You'll be bloodier, painful, and more in tune with deleting yourself from existence. What was the point of it? Pain? fear, everything else in between. Yeah, we're getting subjugated like that all the time. And we're supposed to accept it as normal. Oh, I'm sorry. It's, what was the expression back then used? Perfectly normal? That wasn't it. I'm not normal. I'm normal. Uh, nah, that was an adolescent thing I was using a long time ago. I'm perfectly normal. She is up. I just heard her change the rattle. She'll be whining. She'll be wondering what's going on. And then I gotta be feeding her. Well, at least I get the water dishes out here for her. Try to keep them clean enough. Wait for the damn bug junk in the damn thing. Well, press and independents are trying to prove themselves to be survivable and try to prove themselves to be moral, and I think they know better. Well, maybe they do. Pisses me off when they got others of their own ilk going after each other left and right because they don't fit into each other's pegs. Square peg into a round hole. Back in the 80s, there was a short-lived comedy series called Square Pegs. I tried to do it during the daytime, and then during the nighttime switched over, and it still didn't pick up enough ratings. But now teenagers were trying to fit into a world that they were square pegs into round holes. Yeah, I watched too much TV a long time ago as a kid. And sometimes those memories, they stick with a person. I grew up under the Twilight Zone marathons. Wasn't keen on the outer limits, but the Twilight Zone. Yeah, you get older, you start analyzing it more and more. You get old enough. There's no way in hell I'm Methuselah or Gandhi or Solomon. Sometimes I feel like I'm older than the earth, emotionally and spiritually, but physically I'm still an aged decrepit. Still trying to hold it in, hold it together so nothing else happens. I don't know what's going to happen out there. Bad enough I have to know what's happening in here. But outside Barbie's world, or Johnny's world, or Bobby's world, however you want to look at it, I get more and more trapped in my own thoughts and my own world in here, knowing I'm on the subject and whim of everybody else out there. My own dog's the same way. She wants to go up, but she can't see and she can't walk very well. She can't hear very well, but she'll try to smell. But it's still hard enough for her to deal with outside. She'll go over information overload. And she'll try to run and have to wean her back in with a leash. Sometimes I think of that people another. I happen to live beyond the confines of my own cell. See what the outside world is. There's a word that keeps floating in my head about this one here, Rev. It's called institutionalized. See the movie Shawshank Redemption? You'll know what institutionalized is all about. They'll talk about a guy named Brooks who was a librarian, did something, and he spent most of his adult life from troublesome youth to an adulthood. The jail became his home. He knew what everything else was. He was safe and secure. No matter what changes were happening outside, it didn't matter. And he goes outside after getting paroled. He doesn't know the outside world. He can't figure in. He can't fit in. He wants to go back. He can't commit the crime, so he takes his own life. This was a short story written into a movie format. I watched the movie instead of reading the damn book. But the movie was powerful enough anyway. Morgan Freeman was in it. I think Robbins was in there too. And then I see the guy who was Robbins' friend. Freeman's character goes out. He's already institutionalized. The prison's his home. He's sick and tired of all the damn appeals until somebody actually forces him out. And now he's got to be dealing with the reality of everything. And he thought of going back in. But there was an option. Robin's character had planned his own escape, and he did. During a rainstorm, Robin's character tunneled his way out. Took it long enough. And headed outside. And because of the stuff he learned inside, helped him to escape and live in another country where he was living his dream. And he invited Shepard's character to come on down. Actually, not Shepard, but Morgan Freeman. And at the end, they lived happily ever after. Our life is not that way these days. Shut up. That was my Apple. That was my TV there. Anyway, Rev, we'll talk soon. Hopefully this time. We'll find one way or another, or one device that'll be able to communicate with you. I'll try. I have to work on those things, don't I? So, besides that, how's your life been?